Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru, and I am a TV holic. Today, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the Netflix show, Netflix Korean, I'd say it's like a variety kind of reality TV show kind of concept, Zombieverse. So this is season 1. Mimi's not here because she has not watched this yet, and I just thought I'd talk about it because I don't know if she's going to be able to have time to watch this, but I wanted to get some content out for you guys. So I watched this and I was pleasantly surprised because normally I can't stand anything to do with zombies. It's really not my thing. Like, I hate them. It's just, I find them boring, and it's not like, I like sci-fi. I like vampires. I like other kind of, monsters and stuff like that. But zombies are like so like one-dimensional. Like, they don't have any brain. They don't have a brain. They just like die and they're like, the undead, and they're just like biting the next person that comes along, and everyone turns into a zombie and everyone has to run away and go to the next location. And that's all you can do with it. But I understand, like, a lot of people are really into like zombie movies and zombie, like, the zombie genre kind of thing. I never really got it. I know that Mimi's into it as well. She watched what's it called? Not Breaking Dead. Was it Breaking Dead? I don't know. That zombie show. I tried to watch whatever that zombie show was. When they get that, there's like I don't know. I don't even know who's on that show. They tie one woman, she tied up 2 zombies and like had them on a chain so everyone could, like pass her because the zombies just think that she's one of them. There's no real like zombie like lore behind zombies. So like some zombies can be fast, some zombies can be slow, like some are stupid, some are like cleverer than others. Like, it makes no sense at all. Like, they're dead. They should be like a dead rotting carcass. The only thing I can think of is like maybe they've got like rabies. That's what maybe zombieism is, like having like rabies or something, and then you're like infecting other people with rabies. That's the only thing I can like logically put it down to. Anyway, like, I'm going off on a tangent. Like I said, I don't like zombie stuff at all because it's boring, and like at least vampires, like they can fall in love and they can do this and do that and like hate each other and like have plot things against, like they can have like wars between between not the zombies. See, the only thing I've got on my mind is zombies, but they can have like wars between the different like factions of like vampires and stuff like that, and then the vampires can like play around with the humans, and humans can like interact with them and talk. But zombies, like I said, are just like brain dead. So what is the point? Like, I begrudgingly watched this because I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch it because I knew someone that was on the show, and that someone is Dex, Jin-young, Kim Jin-young. So that's why I thought, let me give this a try to see what he's up to, because I saw a lot of like TikTok videos with like clips of him on the show, and I thought, let me just give it a shot. Let me give it a whirl and see what I can, what I think of like the show. So I watched it, and like I said, I was presently, I was pleasantly surprised because it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. It was actually quite interesting. What I thought, like, I was really confused because I couldn't tell, like, do they not know what's going on in each like scene or what, like, or like, are they, is this scripted? Like, do they know exactly what's going to happen and they're doing different takes for different things to happen? Like, I wasn't quite sure about the whole situation. It wasn't making much sense to me. So, I feel like a lot of like from what I've read online, like a lot of other people were very like confused. They didn't understand if it was like fully scripted or like, everyone was just reacting. But the cast came out and said that they were just like reacting to everything that was going on. So it wasn't like fully scripted or anything like that. It was just like they knew obviously they were on a zombie show, but they didn't know that, you know, what was going to happen and stuff. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let me get into my notes and everything. So, um, like I said, let me just yeah, so I feel like it was kind of like I had to watch season two after season one because it's kind of became my like when I was watching it, kind of became like my guilty like pleasure. Um, and I think it was like a really good concept season one, and I think that like it was the opening scene must have been like really high budget. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, let's get on with it. Sorry, I've got allergies, so you might hear me like blowing my nose like several times during this. Anyway, let me get on with it. So, like I said about the debate, I made some notes on that as well. Um, so there was like a debate about is it like this like an unscripted like survival show? And the biggest like thing is that it was people said it was like a kind of like meta reality TV show about zombies. And it began like with like a fake dating show called Love of My Life. So that's what they did to start it, and that was based in Seoul. So I thought it was crazy that this was in Hongdae in Seoul, I believe it was, and this is a really busy part of Seoul, and I don't understand how they got like how they cleared that to and put in all those actors to just get all these scenes in outside on the streets and stuff. That was a bit crazy, and I didn't expect. I thought that was really like that must have like took a lot of work. I think the whole show took a lot of work, to be honest. It was very creative and very like um there's like loads of different scenes that they put them in and stuff like that. So it was interesting. Anyway, so I also read that they filmed it over like a couple of weeks or something, so they took breaks in between as well. So like they had a filming day and then they didn't have a filming day and then they went back, or maybe a couple of months or something. So in total there was like a few weeks of filming, like per day or something like that. I don't know. Because they all had other commitments between the days that they filmed. So that was interesting. Anyway, so yeah, there was like controversy, like I said. People thought it was scripted, and the creators Park Jin-kyung and Moon Sang-don, they basically insisted that like the reactions and the decisions of the people on the show, the main characters on the show, were like real, but the scenarios were like obviously staged. Like when I say scenario, I mean like the place that the locations they're in and stuff like that was staged. And then I think like there was like a lot of suspension and like disbelief, like when I was watching it as well, it was like confusing. And that's what it really like drew me in, because I wasn't sure if they knew or they didn't know, or like is this scripted, is this not scripted, are they just like reacting to what's happening constantly? It was just like a whirlwind like of confusion. So that's what got me hooked, I think, onto it. And the cast like clearly knows that like these are actors, they're not real zombies, but they're like playing along. And I feel like at moments they're like genuinely like terrified, because like they don't want to turn into a zombie, be cut off the show by turning into a zombie or whatever. And so it really is kind of like a high stakes like televised like game of like floor is lava or something. It became like that, but like with zombies instead. So let's just talk about like the cast members like in real life, who they really are. So let's talk about Lee Seong Lee Seong, and she's basically a famous actress in South Korea, and she was in the K-drama, or I don't know if it's a K-drama or movie, Sweet Home, and she's a former amateur boxer. And basically I feel like she's the only one who looked like she could survive like the zombie apocalypse. Her and Dex basically. Kim Jin Young. So Kim Jin-young, let's talk about him. He's like a former Navy SEAL. Former Navy SEAL, not formal. He's a former Navy SEAL, and a UDT member. So that's like a special like unit in the military, and very elite unit in the military. And he was also like on the second season, I believe, of Singles Inferno, and now he's like a host on Singles Inferno. So that's where I knew him from, and that's, like I said, why I started watching the show, because I thought, let me see what else he's been up to. Because I saw clips on TikTok, so I thought I'd hop on and have a look. And I feel like they cast him in as a hero kind of role because, like from Singles Inferno, he's been like, heroized or like, put on a pedestal and people think he's a hero. And he pulls off like this insane, like a lot of insane stunts, like in this season and in season 2, but I won't talk about season 2. I'll do a separate episode for season 2. And yeah, so a lot of insane stunts, and like he did that rope climb, and people like were shocked like watching it. And also apparently the crew and production were really like shocked as well by like some of the stunts that he pulled. um Ro Hong-chul, he's a veteran comedian and entertainer, and he's basically like they cast him as like to play the villain, and he's like on the show like notoriously like selfish, and he tries to like sacrifice others at any like given opportunity, and he provides like the kind of like comic relief, like but with like basically a comedic person who's like betraying others all the time. It's quite funny, but it's also like I'd find it really annoying if I was with him on the show, because you don't know if he's going to backstab you or not, and then you'll have to turn into a zombie. And then there's Na-rae, Na-rae, and sorry, I'm trying to pronounce this all right, but like I said, I'm not the best with uh getting people's names right and stuff, and like I'm trying to, you know, do it justice and like say the names right. Guys, if I'm not saying anyone's name right or if I'm saying something wrong, just correct me in the comments. Just let me know. We all get better at things by like, people correcting us and like learning from our mistakes and stuff. And sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive with pronouncing the names wrong. So yeah, I was saying Park Na-rae, she's a comedian, and she's also like a DJ as well. I think that's her side gig or something. uh Side job or something like that. And she is basically cast as like, I think, like a liability on this season because apparently when she was filming this, she just came back from like she was recovering from ACL surgery during filming. So like we see her like being pushed around in the cart scene in the supermarket, and she's funny as well because she's a comedian. So like we see that. But if I was her and I just had ACL surgery, that's major. I wouldn't mess around and try and be on a zombie show where you have to run away from zombies and stuff like that. That is crazy. Like, what kind of like doctor approved that? It's not making any sense. Like, also like, why would you like do that if you just like recovered from surgery? Like, no. Not if you're just recovering from ACL surgery. Like, wouldn't you think, oh my God, I don't want to go for another surgery or like, be permanently damaged? It's just not making any sense. Let's move on to Din Din. So Din Din is a rapper and a TV personality. I also saw him on Chu Song-hoon's show Try Chure season 1, I believe. I think he was with the band 17, the idol group 17. He was on an episode where they went to a restaurant with Auntie. There was someone called Auntie something, and yeah. So and that's when Chu Song-hoon choked some of the members of 17 because they wanted to be choked by him. Yeah, so I've done a recap of that if you guys want to go back and watch that. I've talked about it and like my thoughts and everything. So if you want to listen to my thoughts on Try Chure, I'm just plugging that for now. Pause this and go back and listen to that. yeah, just find that episode because I've done it episode by episode recaps of that. So anyway, he's Din Din is a rapper and TV personality, and he's kind of like cast as like I think like a bickering kind of like survivor. Like he like spends half of the time like complaining, and the other half I think he's like getting into arguments with like others on the show. So he's quite entertaining to watch. And then Suki, she's Japanese and she is a K-pop idol, I believe called Billy or something. That's her stage name, Billy, or maybe that's the group, Billy. I'm not sure. It's spelled Billie. I don't know. On the show, she's like a person that people found really annoying. Like she just kept screaming a lot. So it became like really like frustrating for a lot of viewers. I saw a lot of comments, people like saying that she's like really annoying because she just keeps screaming all the time. But I feel like she brings that kind of like horror movie victim like energy to the show. And like you try and like root for her in some situations and you get annoyed with her because she's just like so loud and over the top. And then I also want to talk about Jonathan and Patricia. I was really shocked to see people of color on this show because it's Korea and everything's like um very, what's the word? It's just it's just Korean people all the time. They don't have many people of color in the country, and they also don't have like a lot of white people. So like, if anything, I would have expected a white person to be on the show, but not uh, a person of color. And then we have two. So Patricia, Jonathan and Patricia, they're YouTube sibling duo. They are, and they basically, I think, brought like a lot of comic relief. And they had like a lot of sibling bickering, and this was like usually during like the middle of like a zombie kind of like attack or like something like when they were trying to like strategize or something like that. And I think it's like pure comedy gold, like the way that they were just like joking and laughing and like throwing each other under the bus and stuff like that. I think that was funny. Also, I could not believe how good their Korean is. I don't know how long they've lived in Korea and how integrated they are into Korean society, but it seems like pretty well because I didn't know anything about them, but I'm going to do a bit more research on them before I do probably the next episode of Zombieverse, about not episode, but the next season and next episode, basically, where I talk about like the cast. But yeah, I just want to say that I found it really interesting that they put them in here in this episode. Then there is Hee-kwan, and he's a former pro baseball player. Hee-kwan, and basically he's introduced in like a random like way, but it's funny, and he's like buying fruit from like for a housewarming party, and uh he has like a very short run because he's only on the show for like segments because maybe he had other commitments or whatever. So he basically got turned into a zombie during like, the supermarket episodes. He kind of like sacrificed himself basically for the group. And then there's Kwa Chubin, Kwang Chubin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is another YouTuber, and basically known for his like travel vlogs. He's known for, um, and he brings more of like a like the everyman kind of like vibe to the group. He's just like a regular guy. So now I just want to talk like a bit, like break down the episodes a bit. So like the premiere episode, episode one, um, the setup basically, the cast is like in the studio for the like dating show, the dating show that they're like premising. That's how it starts. And basically a contestant she looks really weird and like ill, and everyone's just like looking at her and like, is she okay kind of situation. And then she basically bites her date on the dating show, and basically all hell breaks loose because she bites the date and then the date bites other people, and then everyone is like biting everyone, and then that ensues basically chaos. And they all like get out of there and like jump into a car. But I thought that was like amazing, like because that was basically in like Seoul, like, and they were doing all this, and it was a lot. It was a huge scene, and I think they, like I said before, the opening of this was like incredible. So also, I just wanted to say that yeah, so let's just move on. So it was like a lot of chaos, like I said, and then we move on to the next scene, which is the gas station. They have to stop for gas, so they like that was a good scene because that didn't really require. They could have just gone to like a remote place and filmed that. All they required, like all they needed to do was like film outside a gas station. So they just needed a lot of like zombies and cast to cast for that, and you know there wasn't a lot of like I don't think it cost a lot to film that scene. That's what I'm basically trying to get at. Um, yeah, so the chaos, there was like a lot of chaos. This is when they get to know like a bit about the way that the zombies work. So they realize that some of the zombies are fast and some of the zombies are slow, and how they detect movement, or they when they hear a noise, they they can tell someone's there and stuff like that. And they figure out basically that they get stuck at the gas station, and they figure out they have to like pump gas while like being surrounded by these zombies. And this basically sets the tone for like complete lack of like coordination, I think, in the whole, season. How like anything random could happen. And then there's like episode 2 and 3. It's like the supermarket, basically. They're going to the supermarket. And that is when there's like basically this scavenger hunt plot ensues, basically, for like food, because they need food and supplies. So everyone's like basically gets into the back room of this supermarket, and they kind of like all the survivors are together, and there's like a bunch of new survivors like Jin-young and like other people as well. That's when the YouTube sibling duo is there as well. And they are trying to, you know, come up with an idea of how to get food and other supplies and stuff like that. And basically, the this is when like the first betrayal happens, because Hong-chul basically tries to like use others as a shield when he's trying to like run away, and because he doesn't want to get bitten, and then he's just laughing like hysterically about it. I really wouldn't want him around if I was like I feel like this is his true nature, and if I was like a zombie, not a zombie, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I really wouldn't want him around, like anywhere near me, because I feel like he would definitely betray me at any like stage just to like get away. Or yeah, for like any opportunity. And then also there is uh another thing that I wanted to say, like what I realized from watching the supermarket scene is that they basically there's no like holds barred like of what you can do to these zombies. So people are kicking and hitting and like throwing things at these zombies. They're real people, and like people could get hurt. Like there was a lot of scenes where I thought, oh my god, like this is going to turn into a lawsuit, because there was like a lot of it was like that's what made it, I think, incredibly real. Because if this was like in America and they did this, like made this entire show in America or in the UK or somewhere else in the world, I don't think they would have done it like so. Like it's quite aggressive. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was too real. And that's why I was having like difficulty thinking, is this real, is this not, trying to decipher in my mind what was real and what's not, because like they were really hitting these zombies with like things that they found, and also kicking and punching, and like other things, pushing them, and people fell to the ground. And it was quite a lot, especially in the supermarket. And anything, people could fall over. There's corners there, like there's loads of objects, that blunt objects and stuff people can get hurt with. So that was quite interesting. But from the supermarket scene, I realized that's when I realized that, you know, Dex, they've told him that he has to, I think they gave, I think what they did do was give like people like roles. They must have told Jin-young, Dex, that you're going to be like the hero archetype. And then maybe they told, what's his name? Uh, the, you know, what's that guy that's, Hong-chul, um, him, because he's like basically the villain of the show, that you have to be like a villain kind of character and everyone has to hate you basically, and you have to like, you know, um throw, you know, not put everyone under the bus, throw everyone under the bus at any opportunity, kind of thing. Because I know that Korean shows, that they basically, even like reality TV shows, they're always looking for different archetypes in, from what I've watched a lot of Korean TV at this point, and even reality TV shows, they're always looking for the hero, the villain, and like the supporting characters and stuff like that, because otherwise it doesn't play out very good for us as viewers to watch. So I'm thinking that's what they've given these people roles. This is what your role is, and this and that, like, but do what you want with it. And they also tell them what scenes they're going into, obviously, because they're, you know, they have to take them to those scenes. And yeah. So where was I in my notes? Yeah, so like I said, Hong-chul tries to like use others as a shield in the supermarket. And basically there's like funny moments too, like they all argue about whether they like should get like low calorie cereal while the zombies are like literally like banging on the glass. They're also laughing a lot, and like even when like there's like some like, you know, actors that were there that just got, you know, zombified, that they sent them out first and stuff like that, and they got zombified, and then Jin-young was like standing guard at the door and stuff like that. And um he, I don't know why he was in like a tracksuit. It looked like the tracksuit that they wore in Squid Games, so that was weird. But I think it might be like a school kind of tracksuit kind of situation, and yeah. So he was like looking in charge, and he was like, you know, very, you know, when he went out for his mission to go get his stuff, he came back, and then he went back to go save um Na-rae, who was stuck basically because she was in the, you know, in the, not wheelchair, in the because of her legs, she had to be wheeled out in the cart, but they kind of left her there. I don't know who left her there, but they left her there, and then they went to go like get her back. Also, the baseball player, he got turned into a zombie at this place as well, because he sacrificed himself, like I said. And then let's move on to episodes 4 and 5. This is when they were like in the village, and the village doctor and all that stuff. So they basically flee to the countryside because like Seoul's like densely populated and everyone's biting each other, so they thought that's a good idea to like flee there. So obviously this is part of the like the narrative that the, you know, that the production team has made. And they meet like this suspicious like Dr. Hong, um Seong-woo, and he's like in real life is like a famous like urologist in Korea, which I didn't know about before I did my research. And then there's like basically there's a segment that feels like most like a K-drama in my opinion, where the doctor is like keeping his like zombie wife in a room, which is like really weird. And and then there's like some controversy. Some viewers felt like the Doctor arc was like too scripted, um and basically compared it to like the earlier like Chaos. Uh what else happened? I did write this in my notes, but I can't actually remember the Doctor like and his wife, keeping his wife. Guys, comment if you remember that, because I watched this quite a while back, and I'm just reading the notes back right now while I'm doing the episode, and I don't remember the Doctor part in episode 4 and 5. So yeah, this is what I wrote. But you know, sometimes you can't remember what you watched, because I'm watching a lot of TV, you know, and there's a lot of things going on in the world, guys, and there's a lot of like things going on in my life personally. So, you know, Doing my best. Then there's episodes 6 to 7. It's like the factory and like the rescue kind of situation. And basically they head to the factory to wait out for like to wait for like the rescue boat. Oh no, they don't know about the rescue boat, do they, here right now? Okay. So basically they're at the factory because they went to uh oh no, I think I've got confused. Okay, so it wasn't the doctor and his wife, it was the maybe I wrote that wrong. Maybe it translated, not translated it, said it wrong when I was making the notes through, like, voice thing. I think they were talking about, like, at the village, the guy that was keeping his mum there. And that was, like, quite interesting because they all went to, pretended to go to sleep and they all got trapped in there. Then they had to get out of there and they had to use their zombie friends to get out of there because, those two got bitten. Um, I remember. Oh yeah, they got bitten at the supermarket outside when they got outside in the outside scene. Okay, so let me just go back. Let me go back to the supermarket actually. So at the supermarket, when the second scene after like getting out of the supermarket, they have to get out of the car park, and it's kind of like I would say like a video game that they're playing to get out. They have to move things around and everyone has to jump on cars, and like this must have cost a lot of money as well because they were destroying these cars. And I feel like there was also, oh my god, there was like this woman like zombie like lying down, and I feel like she could have got crushed by the cars or like people running or something. That it was really weird. And there was that guy as well that was the nut guy that he got bit and he was turning into a zombie and he was helping them by you know um, hitting them with nuts or whatever that thing was that he was making in the car park. Also in the car park, this is when Hong-chul um, kind of like, pushed Na-rae, not made Na-rae turn into a zombie because he like kind of sacrificed her to for him to get out of the way, for him not to be bitten. So yeah, and then also the other guy as well. They lost the other guy. Um, I believe the other guy is a YouTuber, or travel YouTuber or something. They lost him as well because he got bitten. Um, they didn't. Oh yeah, they didn't lose them. They got them in the car and they all managed to get out eventually. But what I found really interesting about this is that when the doctor, or what is he, a doctor or something? I don't know. Can't remember what he was. My notes are like confusing me and I'm betraying myself because I can't remember anything. Um, he was a can't remember. No, it's gone. It's gone. Anyway, so yeah, they went to the car park, the parking lot. And what I found interesting is like they had that barrier thing and the zombies couldn't pass that. And I thought that was really dumb because in real life, a zombie could definitely pass that. And then when you're behind there, the zombies can't even see you, but clearly they can see you because it's not like it's covering your head or anything, and they're talking and stuff. And then they went in that tent, that little white tent thing to make their plans, to draw up their plans, but the zombies never knew they were there. Like even though they were going in and out, in and out. And once you jump over that barrier, you're fine. You're like safe from the zombies. It's just weird. And a lot of them were just jumping over that barrier and it's quite high. It was like, like shoulder length, just below shoulder length or something. Or yeah, like higher than your waist length, and they were just jumping over like it was nothing. And I'm definitely, if I tried to jump over that, I'd, like break my neck or something. I don't know how they're also agile. Like, what do they do in their spare time? Anyway, so yeah, and then yeah, so then they go from the supermarket, like I said, to the village, and in the village they're being tricked by the village elders. Basically, it's someone's funeral, so there's the woman that's crying, and then they're like feeding. They basically feed all of these lot, and I think they drug them so they fall asleep, or they just feed them a lot. They fall asleep, and then they take two of them away in the night, and he's basically taken them to feed his mother because his mother is like a zombie, so he's tied them up. They managed to get themselves free, so it's Patricia and who is it? Patricia and Hong-chul, I believe it is, that got tied up. Was I right? I think so. So basically they escape. But that's really funny as well because he tries to sabotage her loads of times as well, and they leave by climbing up out this window. and the zombie grandma's just like stuck there. And then the guy whose zombie grandma whose mum it is, the village elder, whose mum it is, he comes in, and then the mum bites him, so he becomes infected, so he's still running around. And then they all manage to go and make it to the factory, so they all meet up and manage to make it to the factory. And then they're there, and they have to hide up in, this was really dangerous as well, they're up in like in a factory, but in all these like random bits and pipes and stuff, and like high up in the air. Like if they fell, they obviously would die. Like it's no joke. And like I feel like a lot of the cast would sue for this. So it doesn't make much sense to me how they did this. Yeah, so they were up like in the like rafters, I'm gonna say. I don't know what it's called, but I'm just gonna say that. And they were like hiding and stuff, and Suki found a crappy hiding place, so she was found by, the village elder and like his like team of like minions and stuff. And they also, before they got caught, there was like all those zombies down there below, and they were like all chained up. They saw them, they were like hiding and watching them. The village elder who chained these guys up, and he was making them like the zombies work for him and stuff. And then they were just walking through casually and just like like hitting the zombies to get out of the way. So that was interesting. And so Suki was there. They found Suki, and then they locked her up down there in a box with all the zombies. So she just kept screaming. And then they had to, the new thing was they had to try and save her. So they sent like a lot of different people down there. They sent Jonathan down there, but he got bitten. And is his name Jonathan? I can't remember. Patricia and Jonathan. Let me just get the names right, guys. Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, they sent Jonathan down there, but he got bitten. So yeah, that was interesting. And then anything else that happened? Yeah, so then they saved her like eventually. She was fine, and they covered themselves in zombie blood and stuff, so the zombies wouldn't realize. But it only lasted for like 1 minute or 2 minutes, and 2 minutes, and the zombies realized. That's how Jonathan got bitten, I think. Yeah. Then there was like this amazing moment where Jin-young, he basically climbs up the pole situation. Not pole. There was like this, this like thing where you have to like climb up one side, and then there's like a platform, and the platform rises if like there's a weight on the other side. So they basically put Suki on the platform, and she went up, and Jin-young decided to sacrifice himself, and he went down. But then he like amazingly climbed the rope and went all the way back up again, and climbed back up. And there's no safety net situation or anything. He could have just like died if he fell. Yeah, it wasn't safe at all. I just felt like, what are these people doing? Like, there's no safety, there's no health and safety. And then like when that happened, then like this car crashed in through the wall. That was crazy, because that feels like if that was like mistimed, everyone was shocked. Everyone freaked out and was shocked. And that there was a lot of people there in the being fake zombies, so they could have all died as well, like got run over by the car and the bricks, the bricks and the what's it called? The basically the car drove through a wall. I don't know if this is a real wall or not a real wall or what, or like, and then this guy came to save them basically, and he took them to his house. And like, this was funny. Like, he has all these zombies tied up because he was working on a cure or something, and he's like basically in the countryside, and they're doing target practice, and they've got these potato guns and all that. Very strange, very weird. And so they were using like all these potato guns to like shoot at people, so they were doing target practice. Like, they had these dummies that they were shooting at and stuff. That was funny. But you felt kind of like it was like kind of like they could breathe easily, because there weren't that many zombies around until they found all those zombies. Then Jonathan got sick, and he had to like stay in the house. And then they tied him up to the bed, and like Patricia was like basically, okay, yeah, he's dead, like, I'm just gonna go, kind of thing. She wasn't too bothered, and they were all laughing, and they were all like, well, your brother's dying, don't you want to like be with him? She's like, no, it's okay, I think I'll just go. And that was hilarious. And also it was gross that they were all eating, they all had to eat noodles that they made, and then the guy there, he basically put crickets and all these other bugs and stuff into the noodles, and then everyone had to eat it, and that was gross as well. So everyone had to eat these dead like bugs that he sprinkled into the noodles. So yeah, people were grossed out. Even like Jin-young, Dex was like grossed out by it. But they all did, I think, try a bit and eat it. And then what else happened? What else happened? Yeah, so then they moved on to their next destination. After that guy taught them a few tricks of how to like tackle zombies and this and that. What was their next destination? The next destination, I think, was um after that, after the countryside, they went to, yeah, they did the whole factory situation. Um and basically uh what happened? What happened after that? Oh yeah, I think then they decided to go to, was it when they decided to go to the theme park straight after? Oh yeah, because this guy that they were with, he basically says, sorry, my notes are jumbled, so that's why I'm like thinking about what to say, because I have to think back with my brain and not my notes because they're all jumbled. Seems like they're all jumbled up. So yeah, so this guy, he tells them that there's also this boat that is coming, that's going to take them to safety, and he's going to stay here with his like zombie people that he wants to turn back into like humans, like he's trying to find the cure. But they can take the boat out of here, so um they're all taking the boat out of there. So they're going to wait at the pier. So they decided that the best place to wait was at the amusement park. So like obviously the amusement park is like when they switch the lights on and stuff, and they put all the rides and everything come to life at the amusement park. The zombies are there as well, so they have to save people from zombies. So they go to save these people from the zombies that are hiding. So there's a bumper car, there's a zombie in the bumper cars, and then there's I believe Patricia and Hong-chul went to go save that girl. They saved her, and then there was like the zombies in the, you know, that that ride where you like kind of stick to the wall, stick to the side. There's no like seatbelt or anything. You're just sticking to the side. I thought this was pretty dangerous that they did this with like arcade rides and stuff, like not arcade, fairground rides, because you know like anything can happen. Like they could fall off and like hurt themselves, and maybe probably they had to sign like a waiver, you know, in case you die on this shoot. Uh, we will not be compensating your families or whatever. Like you choose to do this kind of situation. So yeah, so that was crazy because the baseball player came back and he was like a full-blown zombie, and he'd managed to get to this like pier, and like he was coming after them, and like Din Din was like scrambling to get out of there, and like a lot of the other cast were as well. So while they were stuck to the side of the wall of that, you know, that thing that spins around and you stick to the side. So that was interesting, and everyone was like, the baseball player was like scrambling as well. But seriously, someone could really get hurt in that ride. Um, you know, it's not like everyone should be sitting against the wall, against their sides on the seats. I'm just a stickler for like health and safety. I'm sorry. But anyway, so that was interesting. And then they got out of that situation. I think there was some, oh yeah, there was also on, this boyfriend was trying to help his girlfriend who just kept screaming. The boyfriend was Korean and the girlfriend was like not Korean, she was white. And she was like, he was like, you need to help her, you need to help her. And then Dex was like, well, you do something. I think it was Dexter. He's like, why don't you do something? And so then they had to get that potato gun and shoot the zombies, and so the potato gun knocks them out. So you know, like they die basically when the potato gun hits them, and they almost hit the girl like so many times while trying to hit the zombie. And surprisingly, like the best person with the gun was Xiang. Um, I don't remember. Like I think someone was really bad with the gun, and it was like hilarious. I think it was Dex was really really bad with the gun or something like that, with the you know, and that like hit his masculinity. Um, yeah, so Xiang was like shooting, and she was really good at it. I really felt there was like some kind of like chemistry between Shi-young and Jin-young, because I felt like he's into women like her. I know she's older, so he's like uh he'd call her Nuna if they were in a relationship, but she's married and she's got a kid as well. But yeah, so I felt like chemistry, especially in the second season. I'll talk about that in the next episode, the season 2 episode of Zombieverse, that I'm gonna do. Anyway, so like I'm digressing. They have really good chemistry. Like you can just see it between them two. Xiang, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is her name Xiang? Let me just refer back to my notes. Um, yeah, Xiang, Yi Xiang. Yeah, they had really good chemistry. So, like, they were knocking those people off, and then they saved the girls. I don't know what the other people did. The other two were just like still were being zombies, so they left them up there, and then they went back to the Ferris wheel where they all started in this place. So they were at the Ferris wheel, and then everyone decided let's wait it out by like sitting on the Ferris wheel, and the other two could control the Ferris wheel at the bottom, the ones that were going to turn into zombies. Um, Basically, the doctor and Na-rae, the comedian. So basically, they were turning into like uh zombies, and then Hong-chul basically was trying to trick them, saying that I'm not in this. This is not the the box that I'm in, not the box, the cart that I'm in going around, because like he didn't want to be attacked and turn into a zombie. Because Na-rae was like, you basically threw me to the wolves and pushed me into the zombies when like sacrificed me so you could escape. So she wanted her revenge. And basically the zombies were deteriorating, so they couldn't see properly, and they were like getting sicker and sicker and stuff. And then they basically attacked. She basically attacked Hong-chul, and the rest of them all escaped. I think all of them escaped. All of them managed to escape. And then basically you see them in the next scene. It's morning, and they're out by the river, and there's like this big steep pathway that they have to go down, and they see the boat, so they're like screaming, but the boat's like not coming out to them. So basically they get this kind of like they makeshift a raft from like these like these cans or whatever's there, and they get on it, and they kind of like throw a rope over there, and like to the boat, and they kind of like use that to pull themselves along. And then there's this moment when Jin-young decides to get in the water, because Patricia and the other girl, I can't remember who it is, like looked like they were going to fall in, because he was with them as well, and so he had to go back and get them and then like help them. And then Patricia and Jin-young and Shi-young were like basically the boat goes off, and the boat driver's like doesn't know what's going on, and he basically kicks them off the boat. And the other two, Suki and Din Din, they become like deckhands essentially, and they like, because the the sailor doesn't know that there's like this like zombie apocalypse happening, so he's just like, why are you here? Well, now you're here, you're gonna do some fishing with me and stuff. And like they're trying to explain, but he's like having none of it. And then what we see is like this big bus comes, and basically they get on the bus, and it's like it's like steep on a slant. And then they get on the bus, and they're like, oh, they thought they gave the name of like this is what you were meant to get on. And then they got on it, and they were like, oh, we thought it was a boat. And then anyway they got on it, and then they realized, then the bus driver said, we're going in the water. And then you can see the genuine terror in Jin-young's face, like he's holding on to the sides. He thought they were all going to drown in the water. Like, what is going on? Because a lot of crazy stuff has happened on this show, so obviously I don't blame him for being like shit scared at that point. And then they went into the water, and it basically turned into one of those. I would have been scared too, but I know that in Seattle there's this like the duck boat or something that they call it, and it's kind of like you go on a tour and it kind of drives you along like the main roads and everything in Seattle, and you see all the sights, and then you go into the water. The bus turns into a boat, and they just go into the water, and then you're like cruising around in the water. It's crazy. I just couldn't understand it. It was like it was strange when I saw that. So then I thought, yeah, this must be that kind of bus because it looked like it. And yeah, they went straight into the water. But that was a shock for all three of them: Patricia, Xiang, and Dex. And then they were like sailing off to safety, and that was the end. And I really wanted to know what happened, like in the end, because we did see like Hong-chul get, you know, like turned into a zombie, you know, get bitten and everything like that, and like the rest of them escaped. So yeah, that was interesting. And then like I had to watch season 2 because I thought I can't like leave it at a cliffhanger like this. I need to know what happens next. And that's never happened to me ever watching a zombie show or like anything to do with like zombie apocalypses or anything like that. I never care because it's always so terrible. And I feel like I'd give this show like high praise. I don't know what I want to rate it, but I think I'd give it like maybe like, because I don't like zombies like generally, I think I'd have to give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. But that's quite a high rating because like the only reason I'm giving it a lower rating is because of the health is lower than 9 or something like that. It's because of the health and safety. It's crazy the amount of things that they do that they don't care about the health and safety of the people in the show, the actors filming on this show, and like, you know, the stunt actors or the zombies, and you know the other, you know, the what's it called, the background actors. Yeah, it's like it's crazy, like when they drove into that wall and almost killed all the people in the factory floor, like because people were just standing there. That was really crazy to me. Yeah, there was no health and safety. So that's why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. And also because I hate zombies and because they're boring, like I said, like I explained at the beginning of this episode. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I'm definitely coming back to do a season 2 review of Zombieverse. That was very, very different from season 1, but I'll get into that later. I want to hear what you all thought of Zombieverse. Like, did you like it? Did you not? Is it like your thing, or are you like, I know Korea is like there's so many Korean like zombie shows, like movies and also TV shows. So I know it's like really a big thing in Korea. Everyone loves zombies. It's like I don't know why they love it. It's just it's not fun. It's not, no, it's not for me. But yeah. Anyway, like I've seen other shows as well, like recently that I'll be talking about. Me and my friend, my co-host, my fellow podcaster, Mimi, will be talking about pretty soon, reviewing one of those shows. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about that and with her, and not season 2 of Zombieverse, but a different show. But we'll get into that later. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the show, and I want to hear what you guys think. And you know, if you have any like shows you guys want us to review or talk about or like give our 2 cents about, then you know, comment and let us know that as well, because we want to do things that other people like to you know, hear, and we want to do things that, you know, you guys recommend, because if there's something good out there, we definitely want to watch it. So we'd love to hear all of your recommendations. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I'm hopefully back with Mimi soon, but I will be doing another Zombieverse episode, like I said, season 2. There's a lot to say about that. So many new people on that show that I need to talk about as well. So bye. Quick, hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on our socials too: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on whatever you're listening to this podcast on.